in LA this week.
Here on the site of a new victory, the largest vaccination center in the United States of America. A week ago, this didn't exist.
It makes the community look a lot better if we could remove the graffiti. I mean, nobody likes to walk out and see graffiti like right outside their property.
This is a pandemic.
It goes without saying that 2020 is a year like no other. We want pictures, we want stories, we want poems. Everyone had different experiences.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao. Here's what's happening in LA this week. The new year brings reflection and new perspective on events of 2020. Mayor Eric Garcetti and Chief Michael Moore recently held a press conference to examine the areas of triumphs of the LAPD and where there is still much work to do.
Today, I'll be frank, it was a mixed year. Overall, we saw crime down. Violent crime, Part 1 crime. But worryingly, we saw homicides, victims shot, grand theft auto, and assaults up. But it's been a year that's been filled with courage, generosity, when the spirit of this city shone bright. And it's also been a year in which Angelenos challenged us to look at public safety and to build on the leadership that we've had, but to demand more, to make sure that we are truly protecting and serving.
We started 2020 with crime levels at record lows, a workforce that was building on earlier success and a commitment to continued reforms. As summer began and in the aftermath of the tragic death of George Floyd, our profession became the focal point of a local and national reckoning on social and racial injustices and calls for police reform. The Mayor, Board of Police Commissioners, our City Council, and this department reaffirmed our commitment to 21st century policing and accelerating reforms in accountability, transparency, seeking to improve and strengthen public trust.
El verano pasado creamos una nueva oficina para seguridad comunitaria, la cual aprovecha de las relaciones y confianza en la comunidad que son fundamentales para la seguridad pública.
We not only want to have a more effective department, but we also want to be able to ensure that the brave officers who are out there putting their lives on the line have the tools that they need to do their jobs properly.
Overall, we're looking at a trend in the right direction with respect to crime in the city of Los Angeles. It's with respect to our homicides and our shootings that we have tremendous concern. And it is a circumstance that is not just being experienced here in Los Angeles, but as the mayor indicated, a national trend that unfortunately we are all experiencing across the country. I am confident that together with our collaboration and working with members of our community to create better responses and addressing the root causes of where we are seeing this spike, this year will in fact be an anomaly.
Mayor Garcetti also joined Fire Chief Ralph Terrazas this week to bring us an update on the changes and progress happening at the Dodger Stadium COVID-19 vaccination site. LAFD and Corps are working hard towards their goal of 12,000 vaccinations per day.
Tonight I'm speaking to you from Dodger Stadium, the field of so many victories that has thrilled this city for decades. And here on the site of a new victory, the largest vaccination center in the United States of America. A week ago, this didn't exist.
The arrival of effective vaccines has created a palpable feeling of optimism that the beginning of the end of the pandemic has begun.
This is progress, but as we've been reminded again and again, don't let down your guard. Too many people are still dying. There is no task more urgent than getting this site and other sites like it to continue vaccinating our residents. Necesitamos dinero, necesitamos pruebas, y necesitamos vacunas por las maestras, los maestros y los trabajadores en nuestras escuelas. Our city's vaccination strategy is built on 4 pillars: to deliver shots quickly, safely, equitably, and at scale. Those who are being hardest hit, those communities, those ages, those workers, will be at the front of the line. And I want to assure you that every shot delivered at each one of these places is safe and administered by a trained, trusted, qualified medical professional.
We at the LAFD consider our COVID testing and vaccination efforts to be the most significant mission that we will ever accomplish, not only in our fire service careers, but in our lifetimes.
We have to do everything we can to remain vigilant as we roll out this vaccine and manage our healthcare system. Keep wearing a mask. I'm proud to be alongside you. And everybody out there, I'm so proud of what you've given our city and the courage you've shown. Keep that up. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay at home. Strength and love to you, Los Angeles.
With the swearing-in of President Joe Biden, the year of national elections has come to a close. But there is an easy way to dip your toe into this arena locally. Empower LA wants you to think about running for neighborhood council.
Welcome to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, also known as Empower LA. We are one of the youngest departments in the city of Los Angeles. Our mission is to promote civic engagement and make government more responsive to local needs by supporting the neighborhood councils throughout Los Angeles.
Neighborhood councils are advisory bodies that connect their communities to City Hall. The neighborhood councils represent the people at the table and people that are not at the table. We have 99 neighborhood councils that cover the city of Los Angeles, from the Valley to the South LA to the Harbor area, East Side, West Side, you name it.
Neighborhood council stakeholders include people of all ages who live, work, own real property, or have a significant and ongoing community interest.
Council board size range from 7 to 35 members, so you really have to look at the neighborhood council bylaws to see what seats are up for the election. Neighborhood councils is inclusive to all.
For more information, please go to www.empowerla.org.
A few weeks ago, we introduced you to the 311 call center, the number to call when residents need the city to take action. Well, in this next story, we meet New Directions for Youth, a nonprofit that helps the city answer those calls while keeping an eye on community building.
We do graffiti removal, and we also help teens that are like in gangs, trying to get them out of gangs. We do special reading for the kids after school, also after school programs.
First of all, it makes the community look a lot better if we could remove the graffiti. I mean, nobody likes to walk out and see graffiti like right outside their property, you know?
We have people that call it in, 311, and we have 24 hours to remove it, so we try to get it done as soon as possible.
In all honesty, whenever somebody comes and I left the wall perfectly fine, removed all the graffiti, and then they come back and they tag it again, it's a bad feeling because, you know, that's all the hard work that we put in there just to remove it with the paint and everything, and to come back and see it, it's terrible, but you know, we know that it comes with the job. Well, with the organization, they could go to ndfy.org, and they have a lot of information on that webpage, particularly about graffiti removal. But apart from that, they also provide services like GRID, which is an after-school program for kids in the community.
Ayudamos a niños que están en cerca de ser pandilleros para que no vayan por ese mal camino. Y también hacen un programa donde los ayudan después de la escuela a hacer su tarea.
New Directions for Youth has been working to keep young Angelenos engaged since 1975. Later in the program, we will meet another LA organization focused on promoting career development and opportunities for South LA communities. So, it's a rainy day in SoCal, and the parking lot for the Bank of California Stadium is a flurry of activity. That's right, it's Councilmember Kern Price and an army of volunteers making sure, rain or shine, that the residents of District 9 can feed their families. Take a look.
Well, we're here at the parking lot 6 at the football stadium for a food giveaway that we're doing today.
So we're looking to serve 2,500 households today. Each family is that comes to our line today is going to get a box of shelf-stable goods, a bag of frozen chicken. We have some produce as well, carrots, potatoes, cabbage, and we're also giving out fresh eggs today.
A number of organizations that have come together to make certain that we are providing resources to those in need. And this is the first of several monthly programs that we're going to be doing.
Importante porque hay muchas personas ahorita sin trabajos y es una gran ayuda de parte de esta organización. Significa mucho para nosotros porque la verdad con este tiempo que estamos viviendo con la pandemia hemos pasado unos momentos muy difíciles. Y yo creo que esto es muy buena ayuda lo que nos están dando con esto.
Es una gran ayuda, que la verdad no lo esperábamos, pero sí, esto es bueno. Ojalá y así sigamos y que pronto se acabe lo de la pandemia. Muchas gracias.
You can go to lafoodbank.org if you're looking to help. You can also look at lafoodbank.org for ways to donate and also ways to find food near you via our pantry locator. There's no eligibility requirements, so just all you have to do is drive in your car and we'll load you up.
City Attorney Mike Fewer responds to a gun violence surge. A name is selected for the LA Zoo Condor fundraiser, and the Coronavirus Memorial Art Commissions are looking for submissions. These stories and more up next on City Beat.
In response to a surge in gun homicides, City Attorney Mike Fewer announced that his office has filed a nuisance abatement lawsuit against the owners of a volatile South Los Angeles apartment complex. As the site of an alleged homicide, arrests for gun assaults, as well as gun and drug sales, the lawsuit seeks to have the apartment building declared a public nuisance, demands a multitude of managerial and physical improvements, and seeks civil penalties and costs.
Every neighborhood in our city deserves to be safe, and we need collectively to be taking every form of action we can to assure that that's true.
The Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association has just announced that their Condor naming campaign has successfully raised over $31,000. The winning name of LA Zoo's new baby condor will be Cal for a male or Callie for a female. Support for the naming campaign came from all around the country and surpassed the target goal amount of $25,000. The Department of Cultural Affairs seeks to commission 200 artworks by no less than 200 lead artists who will receive seed funding of $600 each. The artists will get permission from family or friends to research the life of a person who has died from COVID-19. The artists will create a memorial, which may be songs, poems, paintings, mixed media collages, or any other type of artwork that can be revealed within a video or series of still images posted online for the general public. For more details, visit culturela.org and check under the Grants and Calls tab. Mayor Eric Garcetti has appointed the first ever Climate Emergency Mobilization Director. Veteran social impact strategist and environmental and health equity advocate Marta A. Segura will develop and oversee the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office and work closely with a newly established Climate Emergency Commission. Both the operations will be tackling the disproportionate health impacts of climate change on vulnerable frontline communities.
The beauty industry and barbershops have always been disseminators of information in the community. That's how Steve Ellis of Untouchable Academy sees it. And he's backing that belief up with a town hall to educate barbers and beauticians about the virus, how to stay safe, and how to get the word out to their clients.
The Academy and Maple are partnering to work with the beauty industry to get information out to the community regarding the COVID-19 virus. My thought has always been the beauty industry and the barbershops have always been disseminators of information in the community. So what would be a better thing to do than to educate those individuals, barbers and cosmetologists, about what the coronavirus is, what's going on with the vaccines, the shots, so they can in turn share that information with their clients.
We want to make sure that folks have the right information. Oftentimes you can see something in social media or something on the news or other places, and it may not necessarily make sense. So our goal is to provide education.
So you've got one barber in a shop who cuts 10 heads. Now he's educated 10 people. Those 10 people go home, talk to their families, and that word starts to spread very fast throughout the community. And I think the beauty and barber industry is very poised to do that.
Entonces, la cosa con ese virus de corona es que siempre cambia. Eso es lo que ya sabemos. Hay más que 100 tipos o variantes de ese virus. Entonces es posible que como el gripe vamos a tener que tener otras vacunas en el futuro.
In a non-COVID season, the Economic and Workforce Development Department would be busy offering training to low-skilled workers and getting others lined up with jobs on construction and infrastructure. But while we're in the throes of this pandemic, the city department has had to shift their focus in order to reach Angelenos still in need of those vital services. General Manager Carolyn Hall dropped by via Zoom to tell us more about how that shift is going.
EWDD is the department in the city that's tasked with developing and implementing programs and initiatives that yield thriving businesses, create job training opportunities, and supports the growth of living wage jobs for the residents of the city of Los Angeles. In a non-COVID year, our day-to-day functions include working on real estate development projects, working with our workforce development ecosystem to place individuals that have a high barrier to employment into living wage jobs. We also work on providing financial support to small businesses. And those are the primary functions of the department. During the pandemic, the city of Los Angeles is one of the first cities to recognize the impact, the negative impact to our small businesses. And the council offices, in collaboration with the mayor, use general fund dollars to put forward a loan program. We later, after the federal government provided the city with CARES Act funds, we moved the loans to grants to put out over $100 million in grants to small businesses and micro entrepreneurs, childcare providers, and street vendors. It's been really satisfying to provide that sort of support, and I know that all the staff at EWDD, despite the long hours and the weekends that they put in to make sure that these programs were up and running, we felt that it was important work that we were doing to ensure that there was a safety net for people. If you go to our website is ewddlacity.com, you will find a list of the work source centers. Call them and they would provide the assistance to individuals who need help with putting together the resumes, interview skills, and any other skill sets that are needed in order to go out and look for and find a job.
Through the pandemic, the Los Angeles Public Library has proven to be an asset that reaches well beyond the circulation of books and physical media. In case you didn't know, here is another free virtual service they offer, the Distance Learning Program.
The Los Angeles Public Library has many distance services to help students. We have many student zones throughout the city when we were meeting in person, and now the student zone has become a virtual resources for the library and the communities. These student zones provide service to the general community, K to 12 students, so that they can sign up for a student zone helpers to assist them with their homework assignments. We see that as a big plus having it in a virtual environment because we see a bigger audience that we can cover multiple communities, more vast areas. We usually conduct a survey after each sessions, so we can see how the session goes. And sometimes we do drop into some of the sessions to see how the students were doing with the students or helpers. So we see that as a big benefit to the students. And also we see some of the parents who are booking those assignments ahead of time to have a connection with the students who help work on their homework assignments.
For most Angelenos, 2020 was a year unlike any other in our lifetime with a pandemic. We also mourned the loss of a beloved sports icon, witnessed waves of social unrest across the nation, and elected the first female person of color to the vice presidency. In an effort to memorialize the events of 2020, Councilmember John Lee is calling for items to include in District 12's 2020 time capsule. He spoke with us recently to explain the importance of preserving those moments.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
The number of affected countries has tripled.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
It goes without saying that 2020 is a year like no other. I think we all have our unique experiences, some shared experiences, but really we wanted to sort of, capture this moment in time. It'll be interesting for this community to see in 10 years just how much the community has changed, the different things and the way the community has come together. We want pictures, we want stories, we want poems. Everyone had different experiences. Pictures I think really describe it, but we also want people to do written word. Obviously we can't include everything, but we want people to suggest anything that they think really sums up what 2020 means to them. It will be obviously in Council District 12, but it will be a city facility that we bury this in. You just go to cd12.org. February 28th is actually the last day for you to be able to submit something. I know everyone has unique experiences, both good and bad, but I think it's important for us to, always look back on time.
Our feature story this week highlights the Antaeus Theater Company. With COVID-19 putting the kibosh on live performances, the survival of smaller theater troupes looks dubious at best. But this theater company decided they would go really old school, and with surprisingly successful results. Check this segment on The Zip Code Plays.
Antaeus is a cooperative theater ensemble dedicated to bringing classical theater to Los Angeles. Like our current production of You Can't Take It With You. Oh, check this out.
Oh, and what happened when I turned around?
Since COVID happened, we thought, where are we going to be able to tell our stories? Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do for us? Is there anything we could do for Los Angeles? Is there anything we could do for people who desperately need art and storytelling?
We began to look at alternate forms of storytelling, and we thought about podcasts and audio plays and a long history of audio dramas.
Once we went into lockdown, the company called me and said, we have this crazy idea. We want to do radio plays.
I feel like the intimacy of listening to a podcast, listening to a story being told by actors in your ear, mimicked very much the intimate quality of our space. We only have 80 seats, and so you feel like you're right with the actors and they're telling you a story, and we felt that this format might suit us.
And Bill remembered that the first time we had a chance for our Playwrights Lab to share their work, and they did a festival of 2 nights of readings of 10-minute plays called the Zip Code Plays. And Bill said, well, why don't we go back to that?
We asked writers to choose a zip code in Los Angeles that spoke to them for whatever reason. We chose those. They wrote original material for us. We cast actors from within our company. And the plays are like, each one's like a little bonbon that has its own delicious taste, but each one's unique.
My hands, they feel. And I thought statues only came to life in operas and children's books. Their clothing is so odd. And scant. I am most assuredly the only woman wearing a petticoat.
We also have some additional programming around these. We have some tours, and on our website you can either listen to the tours virtually, or when we're allowed to go outside a little bit more, you can take them in person, whether on foot or in your car.
The power of radio, the power of this medium, of just being able to hear a performance and be able to engage sort of on a different level where you, the listener, are creating all of that imagery yourself. And I'm really proud to be able to take part in this series and continue that preservation of sort of radio theater.
And at a time when you can't travel, it's so exciting because people all over the world can come for a visit virtually to Los Angeles.
In doing classical theater in Los Angeles, sometimes doesn't allow us to explore our own communities as much as we might like. And concentrating on zip codes and this city and where we live and the communities in which we are all participating was something that's very important to us.
The face of a Kodiak bear and the dimensions of a Tyrannosaurus. And yes, definitely hungry.
So they're available on our website. That's antaeus.org, ANTAEUS. They're also available on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. They're free. Each one is only a half hour long, so you can listen to them in one little sitting.
I have never considered myself to be above sin. Indeed, I flogged myself with chains and metal whips. I could show you. And I'm more than willing to undergo more.
Learn about textiles with the Center for the Arts Eagle Rock. Tune in to discover your hidden superpower, or try your luck at the Banning House Virtual Escape Room. All this up next on Virtual Things to Do.
Center for the Arts Eagle Rock wants to teach you the medieval Japanese stitching technique called boro. In their latest workshop, Textile Arts Mindful Mending, Connie Roman will offer a 4-part online class that will teach you to mend, darn, and repurpose clothing. The class is open to anyone 16 years or older. Check out Textile Arts Mindful Mending. The first class starts Sunday, February 7th at 1:30 p.m. For information on how to register for the class, visit cfaer.org. The LA Public Library invites you to log on for a conversation with Emmy winner and Good Morning America weekend anchor Adrienne Bankert. Bankert will sign on with the Central Library to talk about her new book, Your Hidden Superpower. The book examines the profound and positive impact of simple acts of kindness. Your Hidden Superpower, a conversation with Adrienne Bankert, will stream live on both Facebook Live and YouTube Live, Thursday, February 4th at 5:30 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org. Your friends at the Port of Los Angeles invite you to take a virtual trip back to 1880. The Banning Museum's virtual field trips currently brings you the interactive digital escape room. Learn all about Phineas Banning, the father of the Los Angeles Harbor, as you gather clues throughout the tour, clues that will hopefully get you back to the 21st century. Try your luck at 18th century sleuthing as you check out the Banning Museum Digital Escape Room. You can get started on your virtual adventure by following the tour link at thebanningmuseum.org. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao. From all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.